gave a barely discernible shrug.
Your mother has the same look, and it's usually directed at me. I've learned to look for it. So, tell me, what's on your mind?
James took a deep breath, trying to stay calm, or in the realm of calm. Tell me you aren't culling the culling now. Tell me this is a rumor. He tried to say it without sounding bitter, but the anger in his voice was nothing short of obvious. His dad let out a huff of air. He didn't immediately deny it, which told James everything he needed to know. The rumor was true. One thing James had always admired about his parents was their honesty. They always tried to give it to them straight.
Where'd you hear that?
His dad asked, parent face on. He was sometimes amazed at how his father could flip the switch from being the president of the state to being just his dad. He kind of loved it, kind of hated it too. Where do you think? James tried his best not to roll his eyes, knowing his dad hated that, knowing it would be the typical teenager move.
Cassie?
His dad asked. James gave a slight nod. His dad clenched his jaw.
Figures. Henry could never keep his mouth shut.
So it's true? James snapped. You're going to call for a culling now? 2 years before we would qualify at 18 and at least have half a chance? His dad took down his glasses, resting them atop the report, and stood from his seat at the desk. Now he was back to Mr. President.
We are considering it, and we have our reasons, yes.
His mom walked in at that point with her usual knack for knowing when crap was about to hit the fan. Who peed on your pillow? She looked from him to his dad and back again. Normally it would have made him smile, not this time, not today. Not when this was seriously happening. You did, apparently. You're going to call the culling now. Now? Are you kidding me?
Watch your tone with your mother, his dad warned.
Let me guess. Cassie said something? His mom asked, pressing her lips together and tucking a piece of brown hair back into place. People always told him he got his father's size but his mother's looks. They had the same exact shade of brunette hair and the same green eyes. The temper he was barely reining in belonged to her, too. James again gave a slight nod, tired of talking in circles. He wanted answers. I just finished basics. Why wouldn't you wait a few years? Why wouldn't you let us at least have a shot? It's not at all like that, James, his mom said softly. Unlike his dad, she was always both the current Madam President and his mom, never one or the other. It didn't matter if she was in the middle of passing a bill that would shake the country. She would still make sure he towed the line. It was like she couldn't be Madam President without that mom sort of awareness ingrained in her. She was just both, always had been, always would be. He turned toward his father, clenching his fists, focusing on the sting of his nails in his palms. It was a wanted distraction from getting exponentially angrier by the second. I know I will never be like you. My temper gets me in trouble, and I will never be as stoic as you are. I just didn't realize I was such a disappointment that you didn't think I would be capable of leading our country. His parents exchanged a confused look.
You assume I don't think you are capable.
His dad shook his head.
That's not at all it, James. Couldn't be farther from the truth.
James apparently hadn't blown off enough steam downstairs because the urge to deck something was real. Then why would you call a culling before I'm old enough to qualify? Why would you wipe out my chances like that? I always thought you'd call it when Ken's and I turned 20 or 21. I guess I thought you'd want us to have a shot. His dad was still shaking his head.
Look, your mother and I are tired. And this recent issue in Kansas City with the rebels is proving that our job is not an easy one. We worry about you kids. We've worked harder in these last 7...